Welcome to Unmasking Greatness. I'm your host, Chris Kakouras, a lifestyle fitness coach and mentor. This podcast is about unmasking your greatest potential, finding your purpose, and crafting a life worth living. Health and fitness has been the gateway drug to all of my success. My continuous drive to keep learning and surround myself with other high achievers forces me to level up, which has developed my mind to something I never thought was possible. This podcast is here to share what I've learned and continue to learn with all of you. This is your sign to take back control of your health, mindset, and personal environment. Strap in as we are recharged, and always, if you find value in the show, please subscribe and share as we can all get better together. Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Unmasking Greatness. I'm your host, Chris Kakouras. Hope you guys are having a blessed Monday. And so today I have some pretty exciting news. So you hang on to the end of the episode, and I am going to tell you what that is. And I'm going to kind of lead up into it. So those of you that listen to the podcast and are regulars, this is why I'm saying it here first. So because you are loyal and you listen to the episodes, I'm gonna drop the news here first. I got a lot of things going on in my life right now. It's funny because we as humans always get super overloaded, and I did an episode on capacity, and we always seem like we'll tell ourselves these things like, "Oh, I just can't take one more thing," or "I'm gonna break if I get one more thing put on top of me. Like I just can't do anymore. I don't have time," whatever it may be. And I find myself saying the same thing, and then I load 2 more stacks on me of just tasks to do. And we figure it out, right? We figure it out. We are resilient creatures, and I'm not to say that's always the case, but in this situation, in this current season of my life, this is what I'm doing. So there's a few things. I'll kind of give you guys a little update on what's been going on. Obviously, the coaching has been going great. We have been doing some in-person sessions, which I don't even promote that at all. It's not something I really wanted to do to begin with. I enjoy it, but from a time capacity, it is limiting to do something like that versus like having online clients. And so I decided to take on, just 3 to start. And this has been going on for a while now, but I took on 3 and then it went to 5 and then it ended up going up to 8. And I was like, okay, Chris, what did you do to yourself? Which is great in the sense of like, it's good that I'm able to get clients, but the coolest thing about working with the people in person is the fact that like, I love my clients. I love them to death, and especially the ones in person. I get to work with my type of people, the people that I love working with, the type of clients that I want to coach and train. And ultimately, I get to actually learn from them because everybody I work with is a business owner or they exited out of a business. So they're a little more in control of their schedule, which ends up working out for me as well. And so I've hit a capacity there. So now we are going to bring on one of my other coaches, Coach T, to the in-person field, and we're going to start giving him some in-person clients. So we may start promoting this potentially, but it's been doing good without it. And so I don't want to overload the in-person as it is a little bit higher ticket. But again, you're getting way more when it comes to that kind of style. So that's the first thing. The second one is that I am in the process of getting a certification, a very specialized certification. I told myself I was never going to go back to school, but guess what? Technically, it's not school. I'm not going to a physical complex. I'm just educating myself even further, even deeper when it comes to lab analysis, understanding blood work, hormones, the digestive tract, how gut health is super important and affects the rest of the body. So getting a little bit away from that Western medicine of just medication and getting to the root cause. So that hopefully I have been doing that for the last couple months. It's very in depth, and I'm hoping to be done in about 2 months. So that will be officially put out there in social media and everywhere else. That part of the things that I'll be able to do is actually send people to get labs drawn, and I can put in their scripts of what they need to get checked based on their symptoms that they may tell me, or just generally. So this will be really, really great for our coaching business because I find it insanely valuable to know what's going on inside the body versus the outside. And we can really solve some very detailed and complex problems versus on, a lot of coaches, they're just like, well, just take this vitamin or this vitamin and try this peptide. And they're just guessing. Like, how can you really take a metric if you're not looking at some specific labs? So again, in the process of studying and doing that, which also takes time along with running the business side of things. And lastly, last week, I got a really incredible opportunity. So with coaches, many coaches have apps. Now, we don't develop our own apps. Most of us don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in a team to manage it and grow it and do all that stuff. So there's different platforms out there that we essentially white label, which means the platform is built, but we brand it and we customize it. And so all the coding and the back-end stuff is already done, but we brand it and build out our own programs within the platform. So it makes it a lot more affordable, and the layout is already kind of there. And so I've been with a company called EverFit, who is one of the top coaching apps. So there's really like two that are out there that are kind of like the biggest ones. And so this one is one of the top ones that, thousands of coaches are using. And they reached out to me and they wanted to interview me to see if I would be interested in potentially doing something new that they haven't really done before. So I end up getting on a call with them, and they're like, we're doing something new. We want to see if you're a good fit for it. We think you are, because obviously they can see my profile and see what I've been doing inside of our platform and our app, or how I built inside of their app more specifically. And they were asking me questions about my business, how I got started, and then how we use it, how do we deliver stuff. And they were like, okay, so we're going to go back to the team. We're going to talk about it, see if you're a good fit. Cool. They messaged me back in like 2 days and get on another call. And they said, like, Chris, we'd love to have you a part of this new series that we're doing. And we're going to actually be using you as a coach to talk about how you're delivering nutrition plans to your clients using our platform. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. And I was like, tell me what you need from me and let's do it. So they're like, okay. So they sent me all the details, and they basically laid it out as it was going to be a little bit of a interview style in the beginning. And then we were going to basically talk about, or I was going to present how to handle the nutrition when you're working with clients. Not necessarily teaching them how to, build calories and macros and all that kind of stuff, but deliverables. Like, how are you coaching your clients through our platform? And so I put a PowerPoint presentation together, and in about, 2.5 weeks later, we go live. And he told me ahead of time too. He's like, we're going to have a good bit of, all of them are pretty much coaches that are going to come, and they're going to be on. There'll be a live chat because it is going to be live, and we're just going to roll with it. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. So before we started the live call, I asked him, I said, how many people signed up for the webinar? And he says 650 coaches signed up to be a part of the webinar, right? And I was like, whoa, all right, let's do this. And so it went incredibly well, in a sense that, they were asking me a lot of, or the interview was a lot about like how I started my business, how did I find out who I want to work with, how did I, develop my systems, all the things of just kind of like the startup, to give a little bit of rapport of who I am and what I do. And then I went into my presentation, and then the last 15 minutes or so was more Q&A, which was, this is where things kind of got really interesting. Throughout the whole thing, and I do my best to engage with people while we're going through the whole, interview and presentation. When the Q&A hit, it was just questions like banging out, like one after another. Like, people are just like throwing them in the chats, and it was hard to keep up with. And so the questions ended up turning a little bit in a different direction, of away from the questions along the lines of the app, and it got very heavily into questions about business. How did you find your niche? How do you get your first couple clients? how are you retaining them? Do your price points, like, again, business questions. And they're just like, and I'm just banging them out, just kind of answering their questions. And the guy that's interviewing me, he's like, well, Chris, he goes, I'm sorry, like, we're out of time. We're gonna have to cut this, short. It seems like it went really, really well. I'm actually really impressed with how everybody was engaging. And so now you see like thank yous just rolling through the comments. And he goes, I think maybe we need to talk to see if we can bring you back on. Seems like everybody really enjoys you. And now we got everybody that's like putting like coaching ? Mentorship ? Like handfuls of people asking if I do this. And I was like, well, listen, guys, I was like, I know we got to go. This is my Instagram handle. Shoot me a message and I'll get back to you as fast as I can. And with that, that's where it ended. And when I got off that call, my phone was like blowing up in my DMs from just other coaches, following me, just saying, hey, the webinar was amazing. And then others were like, I was the one asking about mentorship. Do you offer that? And it made me feel good. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I kind of got a little bit of a high off of that, but I also reeled myself back into reality. And I was like, check your ego, Chris. This was good. It was a blessing, and take it for what it is. So it had me really like thinking about potentially like opening up this like mentorship program. So I was like, I'm going to give it some time and I'm going to think about it. And I ended up having a follow-up call with the company Everfit with the app, and they, again, just, Chris, you did amazing. I think it's also because you're partly like comfortable on camera. You answered questions. People were engaging. That's the biggest thing. And we definitely want to continue trying to do some things with you. We're thinking potentially, if you're open to it, doing more specific training videos of like step by step how you are utilizing our platform and coaching your clients. And so we had that conversation, which is awesome. And I was like, yeah, dude, I love it, and again, I didn't get paid for this. This was just something like I thoroughly like enjoy talking about business. And if you guys listen to my podcast too, it's kind of part of like a lot of the interviews I do. Like I enjoy that back end system, which just sounds crazy. I know some people think that's like, I hate that. I hate systems. I hate automations. I hate setting up the back end. So anyways, that is where we're at right now with that. So it's interesting. Like, this is kind of where I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, motivation. Okay. Because I feel like a lot of people may be like, Chris, you're so motivated to do so many things. Like, you jump into different things and try whatever. And I heard this the other day, which I thought it was really funny, is that they said, successful people are losers. And I was like, dude, why would you say that? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But then this person goes on to say that, successful people are willing to try and try again and fail again, and probably fail more than your average person because they're not willing to give up. Right. So you're technically like you're losing, right, over and over, but we're resilient. We keep trying and pivoting and trying again. And eventually, whatever the thing that you're trying to achieve, you find yourself achieving it and creating success within it. But it takes time. It's rare for someone to pick up something immediately and just take off with it. It's a skill that most people have to develop, just like a sport, taking a quiz or a test at school. Like, you'll have your few people that can just like walk in and ace a test, and then others have to put some time in. So, but more than not, people have to put time in, to get better and better. And so when it comes to the motivational aspect, I don't like to tell people like, oh, it's discipline, right? You just got to be disciplined. I guess that could be partially it, but I think it goes a little bit deeper into a belief system, right? Like, what do you truly believe about yourself? And when we're talking about, motivation, and many people come to me, and this is probably why they come to me, is like, Chris, I don't have motivation. I've lost it. I need accountability. I need you to get me remotivated. And, this is where we start to ask the questions, right? It's like, what's going on here? And so I think it's more importantly to ask these questions for your goal. So let's kind of push out the concept of motivation. So if this is you, I want you to listen up to this. If you're the person that's like, hey, I lost motivation, Chris, hear me when I say this. Ask yourself first, like, do you know what to do to reach your goals, right? Is that the gap from you reaching your goals? Do you not know what to do? Let's just keep it simple. Let's talk about weight loss, right? Like do you not know how to lose weight? So do you not know how to like eat in a calorie deficit? Do you not know how to work out? I would say most of the time, probably not. You probably have YouTube, ChatGPT. I mean, you could probably find a workout. You could probably find some sort of generic diet that puts you in a calorie deficit or something like that. So, let's just say most commonly, that's probably not the issue. Ask yourself, okay, on that goal, like what's the benefit? What is the benefit of me achieving X goal, dropping the 20 pounds? It could be you just want to feel better. You want to have more energy. You don't want to be so stressed. You want to look better in your clothes, more confident, whatever the benefit is. But sometimes that benefit isn't good enough to keep you going when times get hard, right? A lot of times it's just more so like there needs to be something that's like a stronger anchor. But at the end of the day, we all know the benefit of getting into a healthier weight, having more energy, all that. Now, what I do believe is what is causing your loss or lack of motivation is potentially a underlying belief system. All right. So what do I mean by that? This really goes along your prior beliefs and experience. Maybe you've tried this before and you're like, working out is hard. Working out is tough. I don't like it. Dieting, I don't want to eat the same thing every day. I've done that before. I hate feeling hungry. I feel like I'm starving all the time. And then I just binge on food that I'm not supposed to. And my weight never goes the direction I want it to. So in your mind, you're already setting up a belief system that it's just not possible because it's just too hard. It's not doable. You've never reached those kinds of results in the past, or it doesn't stick. Again, you're starting to envision and create a reality, and we perceive reality any way that we want. It could be a very deceptive reality depending on our prior experiences and our beliefs. And so there's an interesting study that I was listening to the other day, and it was talking about wild rats. Okay, so this is pretty crazy. So this is a Harvard study back in the 50s. And I'm going to kind of paraphrase this whole thing, but basically the scientists wanted to find out how long a rat could swim without giving up and drowning. All right, so he just basically plopped this little rat into a tub of water, and it would tread water, and he wanted to watch. And the first time he did it, it ended up the rat swam for about 15 minutes before it started drowning, and then it would basically pick it up out of the water. I did it again, and then he decided to take this rat and see if he could increase the time that it would swim. So he put it in with another water with other rats in it, and basically kept doing it and see how much longer it would last. And every time it was about to drown, it would basically yank it out of the water and kind of almost condition it in that sense. So finally, and again, I don't know exactly how many times or how long this did it, but it wasn't long enough to really condition the physical aspect of the rat. He ended up doing that multiple times of saving it when it was about to drown. And then the last one he did, he put the rat in to see how long it would last alone. And remember, the first time he put it in, it did 15 minutes. What do you guys think? How long do you think that rat lasted when he actually tested it the last time? I'm going to just give it a second here. Just think, just guess, twice as long, 3 times as long, 60 minutes, whatever, right? No, it was 60 hours. This rat stayed swimming 60 hours from 15 minutes. Insane. And what they discovered was outside of the physical, exhaustion and, there wasn't enough time to actually do like a, physical training to make the body any like the endurance a lot longer. It was purely the fact that the rat was knowing that he was going to be saved. It was like the hope of salvation, that he knows that somebody is coming to save him and just not to give up yet. And it lasted 60 seconds. And just that alone, just believing, made him last that much longer. Imagine you guys thinking of goals that you have and you really believe in yourself that you can accomplish it. How much longer would you go? How much longer would you work towards it? How much harder would you push in the gym, knowing and believing that you're going to reach your goals? I bet you would do it a lot harder than you're doing it right now. Because if you don't see the results, we want to give up easy. And so I was listening to another podcast, matter of fact, earlier this week, and this guy, he was talking to this person that was interviewing him, and he says, I got a riddle for you guys. And this is fun. This is a fun one. So this is the riddle, and I'm going to give you guys a second to think about it too before I give you the answer. There's a father and son that are driving down the road, okay? They're driving down the road, dark, straight path, no cars around, and they're driving. Next thing you know, a deer jumps out, and they have a tragic wreck. The father dies instantly. The son's in critical condition, and they get him rushed to an emergency room to get operated on. In barges the surgeon and looks at the son and says, I cannot perform surgery on him. That's my son. How is that to be true? How is that to be true? I'm going to say it one more time, paraphrase. Father, son in the car, tragic car accident. Father dies instantly. The son, critical condition, ends up in the surgery room, in barges the surgeon, and says, I cannot operate on this boy. That is my son. How can that be? Now, as you're thinking, I'm going to talk. I'm going to be honest, I didn't get this. I started thinking all kinds of things. I was like, man, you got a stepdad, or, you want to get religious? Are you saying God? Like what is it? And here's the thing. 83% of people get this wrong. 83% get this wrong. And I'm going to tell you what the answer is right now. The surgeon is the mother. The surgeon is the mother. Now, when I say that, you're probably like, oh my God, yeah, of course it is, right? Because I never said the surgeon was male or female. But we, as a society, already have predetermined and pre-framed that surgeons are males. And statistically, 80% of surgeons are males, 20% are females. That's a fact. And so, again, this is not a sexist thing, but if we have already predetermined in our mind that the surgeon is male, we can't even see or fathom that is something else. We've already predetermined it. And so this is the power of belief in your mind. If you can't really truly believe and see what you're trying to obtain, you will never obtain it. You have to, if you want to say manifest it, manifest it. But if you're trying to achieve something that you can't even see being a reality, this is a problem. This is what's going to hold you back, and you're going to sabotage yourself over and over again because we like being right. We like being right, and you will be. So I challenge you to open up your mind. I challenge you to see yourself already at the goal line, at the finish line, already at your goal weight, already looking and feeling better. If health is your goal for yourself, envision it, believe in it, feel it, close your eyes and imagine it. Your body can feel it. The mind is so, so powerful. And so I just think it was just mind blowing for me. And so I'm going to finish out with this because all of this is going to wrap up into what I started with. And I told you I was going to start something new, or I was going to have an announcement for y'all. So after the EverFit webinar that I have done, so many people have asked me to mentor them, to coach them, to help them with their business. And I have done this in the past. I have helped people. I don't talk about it. It wasn't something I ever wanted to do other than purely because I wanted to help people. And these individuals I helped were, close friends of mine. And they have successful businesses now. And so at that time when I was doing it, I was like, man, maybe I do want to do this. And I even created a whole curriculum, a whole course, and did nothing with it. It's still kind of in the draft files right now as we speak. And after the webinar, after so many people reached out to me, I made the decision that I am going to open up a mentorship program with myself. And for coaches that want to grow a business, a sustainable business, I want to keep the reality of the lifestyle that you want. I think chasing an income and chasing a number can be very disheartening. We all want to make money 100%, but you can make a lot of money. But if you keep upgrading your life, you'll always live paycheck to paycheck. So I think explaining that to them early on, because I hit that wall myself. And I've seen a lot of my mentors that are doing multiple millions of dollars do it to themselves as well. And, some of us catch it early and some of us catch it later. But at the end of the day, you cannot just be chasing money, although we need it to live. So without going into detail, that's a whole nother conversation. I've decided to start up a mentorship program with myself and helping people develop a system and a legitimate business that they can run and make an amazing living off of. So this will probably be softly announced in the next 2 weeks as we're finishing up, building out the back end curriculum. There's going to be videos, coaching calls with myself, group chats with other coaches. And we're also working alongside of EverFit with this. So this will be a cool little collab deal alongside of them. So more webinars, probably start putting stuff on YouTube. And I'm really, really pumped about this. I've been wanting to do this for almost 2 years. And I think timing is everything. And sometimes it's not my timing, it's God's timing. And I feel like he's, putting this in front of me right now and says, hey, if you want this opportunity, it's here for you now. And so I want to take my shot and do my thing. And I already feel in my heart that this is going to be great. I'm super pumped for this. So again, wanted to share the news for those that are listening. And I encourage you guys to, believe in yourself. And this is something back 2 years ago I couldn't envision myself doing. It's something I wanted to do. I don't know. I just couldn't physically see it or feel it. And now I definitely see it. I have a lot more experience. I've been through the ups and the downs, and I know that I can help a lot of coaches out there. So that's it. That's what we got. I hope this episode inspired you a little bit in your journeys, whatever your goal is. And remember, motivation is a great word. It's tossed around a lot, and we're very motivated when things go the way that we want it to. We're very motivated when things are in front of us and we can see it, but we got to believe it's there first. We got to believe it is there first. So I love you guys. Hope you're having a great start of the week, and let's stay motivated and stay in your beliefs. Peace.